What's up, guys? Peter Valley here. I'm the founder of NeuroPrice. I'm here in this video to give you the 5 ways that NeuroPrice will pay for itself, which is another way of saying the 5 ways that NeuroPrice will extract more profit from your inventory than any other repricing tool. And another way to say this is the 5 ways that NeuroPrice will raise your prices more than any other repricing tool. Will get you sales while also raising your prices, which allows you to, again, to get more profit from the same inventory with no extra work. And we do that in 5 parts. So to give you some context here, in 2023, NeuroPrice launched with the goal and the mission of rebuilding repricing and reinventing it from the ground up. We do that in 3 parts. Number 1, our goal is to set out to make a repricer that raised prices more than any other repricer. Other repricers simply cannot raise prices, period. NeuroPrice is the only tool that can, because we're the only tool that can compare your offer to higher price competing offers. Every other repricer, they tether you to the lowest price. We'll get to that in a second. Number 2, the only repricer with no blind spots, none. We'll get to that in a second. And number 3 was our goal to be the world's simplest repricer. A repricer is so simple, you can actually sign up, dive in, and start repricing without even watching a single video. It is that intuitive. And our mission, again, was to extract more profit from your inventory for the same amount of effort. So some kind of bad news here if you're using another repricing tool. When NeuroPrice launched, which as of the time I'm recording this has not been that long ago, instantly your old repricer became obsolete. We started calling them retro repricers because they're doing things the old-fashioned way. And people starting to wake up to the way repricing has always worked is outdated. It forces your prices down. It costs you money. And that whole world that old legacy repricers inhabit just simply doesn't exist anymore. It's all unnecessary and it's all too costly. People are kind of waking up to that. So here are the 5 ways that NeuroPrice will pay for itself above and beyond every other repricing tool out there. Number 1, NeuroPrice, and this is the big one, you guys, like far and away the biggest one. NeuroPrice is the only repricer that can actually see higher price competitors and allow you to compare your offer, not just to the lowest offer like every other repricer does, compare your offer to the second and third lowest competing offer, allowing you to raise prices in a way that is simply impossible for other repricing tools. And if you're sitting back and you're like, wait a minute, are you telling me my current repricer can't raise my prices? You're probably scratching your head and never even thought about it before. It's factually correct. It's literally impossible. There's only 2 circumstances under which your current repricer, if you're not using NeuroPrice, can raise your prices. And it's really actually only one. If your existing price for your inventory is lower than the lowest price or lower than the buy box price. Only in those 2 very narrow circumstances will your current repricer raise your prices. Outside of that, it is impossible. Because again, NeuroPrice is the only repricer that can see higher price competitors, because we took a much more technically challenging road to building NeuroPrice. Instead of relying on Amazon's API, which is the easy way to do it, which every other repricer does, we took a really difficult, challenging road. So it took NeuroPrice, 2 years of development before it could launch, so that we could do exactly what's on this slide here. Compare your offer to the second and third lowest offer. Okay, so right here inside NeuroPrice, as a part of every single pricing rule that you set, you've got your options about you tell NeuroPrice what do you compare your price to. Here are your options: lowest overall, second lowest overall, third lowest, lowest FBA, second lowest FBA, third lowest. Now pay attention to these: second lowest and third lowest, both merch fulfilled and FBA. Your current repricer is unable to do that. The only thing your repricer can compare your price to is the lowest overall and lowest FBA in the buy box. That's it. And it can't do lowest FBA very well because of the blind spot. So what this means is because NeuroPrice can see your highest price competitors, we can raise your prices to price in relation to them. Doesn't mean you're always matching them. You could say 5 cents lower. You could say price 50 cents higher or 10% higher or 5% lower. Any combination of things you want, but only NeuroPrice gives you this level of granularity and actually allows you to raise your prices. Your current pricer is forcing you to drop prices against your will by tethering you to the lowest priced offer. You're actually chained, and it's kind of like a good metaphor, because it's like you're being chained and dragged down. Imagine if you were the victim of a mafia hitman. Okay, they're gonna tie a chain around your leg and throw you in the water. That's what your current repricer is doing to your inventory. So I want you to ask yourself this question. This is actually not a rhetorical question. This is actually a really high stakes question to ask yourself right now. If you're using any of the retro repricers, ask yourself this: how much extra money would you make in a week, a month, a year, if you could actually raise your prices and not just drop them? In other words, still get sales, but do so raising your price, even if it was just 5%, 10%. How many thousands of dollars, what would that translate to in terms of revenue? How many, like tens, hundreds, thousands of dollars would that translate to? Think about that. That's how NeuroPrice will pay for itself many, many times over. And what's insane about these current repricing tools, I always call them retro repricers because that's what they are. They are obsolete. They are retro repricers. It's completely archaic technologies that they're using. They have us all in this state of, you've heard this term learned helplessness? it's actually really messed up, but they'll like put animals in cages and shock them. And eventually after like, once the animals realize they can't do anything about it, they're completely at the mercy of their, the people in control, like the scientists or whatever. They actually just go limp. They just stop resisting. Like that's how we all are when it comes to Amazon repricing. We are using these old tools, these legacy tools, and we just accepted that we can't raise prices. That's just the way it is. You reprice. Repricing translates to dropping your prices. We don't even question it. That's the level of learned helplessness that we have all been subjected to. And we don't even think about it. We don't even question it. So imagine what would happen if you could actually suddenly reprice your inventory and find that like 30% of your prices were actually raised. That would be insane, right? It's just free money. It's like actually literally just free money. So this is the question you have before you right now. Like, do you want to do things the old-fashioned way and keep being a victim to learn helplessness, or start raising your prices? There's so many testimonials. I have like, if you go to neuroprice.io, there's a link below this video, and click on the testimonials tab, you will see like, I don't even know, it's like 40 testimonials from just like this, where this is our friend Greg who says, NeuroPrice is easily paid for itself. NeuroPrice is the only repricer that can see all the data to make intelligent pricing possible. And it goes on and on and on. And you can see here, see the menu right here? Look at these options right here. This is what NeuroPrice allows you to compare your price to. The lowest offer, second lowest, your repricer can't do that. Third lowest, your repricer can't do that. Lowest FBA, your repricer can't always do that because of the FBA blind spot. We'll get to that in a second. Second lowest FBA, third lowest FBA, your repricer cannot do those. Okay, period. And if you don't believe me, you probably never thought about it before. You can just confirm yourself. But just send a screenshot of this slide right here. Take a screenshot right now and send this to your current repricing tool and say, can you do this? Can you raise my prices like NeuroPrice can? And forward me their answer. I would love to see that, because their bottom line, they're probably just not going to answer. But if they can, if they do answer at all, they're just going to dodge it. And if they answer honestly, they're just going to say no. So there you go. Number 2 way that NeuroPrice pays for itself and makes you more money than any other repricer is we are the only repricer that can keep new offers priced above used. This is weird, and no one probably, it's another example of learned helplessness you probably never even considered. Okay, this is another blind spot. NeuroPrice allows you to compare your used inventory to your new inventory and price used inventory below new and new above used. Your current repricer cannot do that, and you probably never even thought about this, and they probably never even told you this. Your current repricer is taking used inventory and is pricing it higher than new inventory, because it's not an uncommon scenario where new offers are a little bit cheaper than used offers. Well, guess what? If a customer has an option, they're going to go with the new offer. So that means that's costing you sales. NeuroPrice does not work the way retro repricers do. We do things they simply can't do, and this is a big one. And it's kind of wild to think about, because you're not even alerted to this when it happens. When your current repricer is taking your used inventory and pricing it higher than your new condition competitors, they don't tell you this, and you will simply never know. The only way you'll know is passively by not getting sales. And so this is actually costing you money as we speak, literally right now. Not in the abstract. This is not hypothetical. It's costing you money right now. So here's an example. You've got a new offer, right? Not a new offer, a competitor's new offer, and it's let's say $36. This is an example right here I pulled from Amazon a minute ago, and your offer is priced at $50. Your repricer you could not tell your repricer, hey, if there's a new condition offer, price mine a little bit lower so I actually get a sale. Your current repricer simply cannot do that. It cannot separate used and new. Insane. You probably never thought about it. Your repricer will probably deny it. It is 100% factually true. And so let me take inside NeuroPrice really quick and show you the proof. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this feature right here. See where it says compare new to new and used to used only? If you leave this unchecked like it is right now, NeuroPrice will optimize your price by looking at used and new and figuring out the best price for your inventory, looking at all conditions. Your current repricer can only compare used to used and new to new. That's all it can do. It's a limitation of Amazon's API. So that results in your used condition inventory very often being priced higher than new condition. Only NeuroPrice can prevent that and increase your sales and your profits. Okay, so how much is this costing you every year? It's impossible to say, but it's definitely costing you money. Like, definitely. And it's almost definitely costing you more than the price of NeuroPrice, which again makes NeuroPrice pay for itself. And here's the weird thing about repricing tools. They don't actually care if they lose you sales or they lose you revenue. They are not motivated to increase your revenue or increase your sales. They're just motivated to keep you on board. They're motivated to keep you in the dark about what they can't do, but they're not motivated to actually help your business. They just want your subscription money to come in every month. And since up until NeuroPrice, all repricers worked equally poorly, they didn't have to worry about anyone jumping ship and moving to another repricer because they all worked equally bad because they all had the same blind spots. So now that NeuroPrice is around, They're honestly freaking out. I have a separate video about that, but like they're actually kind of like legitimately concerned because NeuroPrice ensures you get the profit that you deserve. And I'm saying this to you as an Amazon seller, someone who's been victimized by these tools. And that's why I built NeuroPrice. So all you have to do is take a screenshot of this slide right now and send it over to your current repricing tool. See a little box right there? You check in NeuroPrice, says compare new to what I just showed you. All you have to do is say, can you do this? I already know what they're going to say. They're going to say no, or they're going to avoid the question. And then you know that NeuroPrice is the answer. Number 3 way that NeuroPrice makes you more money than any other repricing tool. We're the only repricer that can ignore lowball competitors. This is massive, you guys. Massive, massive. What this means is that your current repricer is losing you money by forcing you to chase lowball offers. Now, this is a little bit different than the first one. Right? Remember I said we raise your prices, we compare your offer to second and third lowest. This is kind of the inverse of that. We actually have a setting, I'll show you in a second, a setting where you can check the box and just say ignore lowball competitors. Any offer where the lowest offer is priced below more than 40% below the second lowest, or 20%, you can do by percentage or dollar amount. Anytime the gap between the first and second lowest offer is greater than the amount that you set, you can tell NeuroPrice, ignore the lowball offer, just wait for them to sell out, and then you'll be next in line. This is huge in its significance and its ability to extract, again, more profit from the same inventory with no extra work. NeuroPrice is the only repricer that has a setting to ignore aggressive underpricers. You know the sellers I'm talking about. We all deal with them. Your current repricer forces you to chase those offers. NeuroPrice allows you to ignore them. Now think about how much money this costs you, like literally on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, where you got a competitor, and let's say your offer's at $20, and they go, you know what? Their competitor comes along and they're like, I'm gonna price mine at $10. This happens. I mean, this is probably affecting like possibly the majority of your inventory right now. And your current repricer says, okay, well, the lowest price is $10, and since we are anchored to that lowest price, we must price in relation to that lowest price. No repricer can allow you to ignore that lowball offer. NeuroPrice is the only one that can prevent underpricers tanking your offers, period. The only one. Here's how we do it. Check this out. Okay, let's take a look at our advanced feature set down here and pay attention to this specific feature where it says ignore lowball sellers. This is quietly one of the most powerful features of NeuroPrice. You check this box and you can choose a percentage where you're saying, hey, anytime the lowest price is this percentage amount lower than the second lowest price, consider that a lowball offer and ignore it. And you have a couple options here, 30%, 50%, 75, or you can enter any percentage that you want. Extremely, extremely powerful in preventing price tanking. Okay, so ask yourself this question. How much are lowball sellers costing you? Let's say this affects even, I think this is conservative. Let's say it affects 25% of your inventory. And let's say, again, stupidly, absurdly conservative, it only affects the sales price by $1. Okay, so let's say you've got 1,000 books, and it affects 250 of those books. So that's $250 for every 1,000 units. Again, this is an absurdly low estimate in my opinion. And let's just say you sell that many every month. So that's $250 a month that's costing you with the most conservative possible estimate. The significance of this is absolutely massive. And this, again, one of the other reasons I built NeuroPrice. So your repricer does not care if it tanks your prices. Again, just like what I mentioned a second ago, they do not care. They are not motivated to address this problem. The reason I do this is because I drink my own Kool-Aid. I have Amazon inventory. I did not like existing repricers. I forced myself to build a repricer to solve the problems that affects other repricers so that I personally am not losing money. So I'm personally invested in NeuroPrice doing a good job and extracting more profits. So you see the setting here again, ignore lowball offers. No other repricer offers that. So again, you can take a screenshot of this, send this to your repricer. Hey, can you do this? Guess what they're gonna say? No, we can't do it. Number 4 way that NeuroPrice extracts more profit from your inventory than any other repricer. We are almost, not quite, but almost the only repricer that allows you to reprice by sales rank. This blows my mind. There's only one other repricer that does this. What this means is your current repricer is forcing you to reprice low demand items the exact same way as a bestseller. In other words, let's just say, just for an example, a book. NeuroPrice works for all categories, but let's just say a book. You have a book, and the book is ranked number 100. It's selling hundreds or thousands of copies a day. And you've got another book that's ranked 10 million. It's selling 1 copy every 5 years. Every other repricing tool, except for one, Reprice It is the other one, by the way. Just, hats off to them. At least they actually are sane enough to offer this. Reprice It and NeuroPrice are the only ones that allow you to say, okay, you know what? For inventory that is in this sales rank strata, apply these rules. And for this other sales rank strat, applies these rules. And you can, with NeuroPrice, you can get as granular as you want. You can set 50 or 100 different rules based on sales rank. So again, you would never reprice a best-selling item the exact same way as a poor-selling item. It would be ridiculous. A best-selling item could be selling 1,000 units a day, and then another one could be selling, again, once every few years. Why would you reprice those the same? It doesn't make any sense. So this is costing you money literally as we speak. So look at these keep it charts right here in the slide. You've got one where it's selling like every few months, another one that's selling, looks like, multiple times a day. Would you reprice these items the same? That would be lunacy. It would like literally be directly costing you money in sales. But every other repricer forces you to do that except for NeuroPrice and reprice it. Okay, so here's how we do it. Okay, so look down here. As a part of every single repricing rule, you have the option to set a sales rank range. In other words, this pricing rule will only apply to this sales rank range. You could say, have one set of rules for 1 to 100,000, one for 100,000 to 500,000. However you want to do it, you can get as granular as you want. When I say as granular as you want, we actually have a custom option, so you can enter a custom value. You're not even limited to your options here. NeuroPrice is one of only 2 repricers in the world that offers this. So ask yourself this question, again, not rhetorical. Ask yourself this question: how much money is this costing you each year in the form of lost sales? How much is this costing you? I can't answer that question for you, but I can almost guarantee it's more than the cost of NeuroPrice, which again makes NeuroPrice pay for itself. So again, screenshot this, send it to your repricer, and unless they reprice it, they're going to come back and say, yeah, we can't do that. There's your answer. And you should cancel them immediately. Number 5 way that NeuroPrice will extract more profit from your inventory and pay for itself far beyond any other repricing tool is we allow you to review all prices before you commit. Now, I'll be fair here. I have not tried every repricer out there, but I've tried most of them. I've never seen a repricer that allows this option. And this is optional, right? You don't have to do this. You can turn over your inventory to NeuroPrice and just let it run quietly in an automated fashion and not worry about reviewing your prices. But if you're cautious and you're a little bit more nervous, and maybe you just want to glance things over before you actually lock in the prices, NeuroPrice will allow you to audit all the before and after prices before you commit. Your current repricer is not telling you what it's doing, and it actually doesn't want you to know what it's doing. There's a reason the current repricers, your legacy repricer, your retro repricer, is not being transparent with you. The reason is, if it was transparent, you would be able to see all the things it's doing wrong, all the blind spots, all the ways, how often it's dropping your prices. You would be able to see this, and it would terrify you, and you would cancel immediately and either switch to NeuroPrice or go back to repricing by hand. NeuroPrice is the only repricer that has the confidence to show you exactly what prices were changed and exactly why they were changed. Other reprices don't show you what changes they made, which should terrify you. And it should make you wonder what they're hiding. And I'll tell you what they're hiding. They're hiding their blind spots. They're hiding all the price dropping. This is what they're hiding. And that's why they don't want you to see before and after prices. So here's how we do it. Okay, so here we are inside NeuroPrice. This is an optional option, but if you want to be more cautious and review all your price changes before locking them in, NeuroPrice gives you the option to do that. After you reprice a page of inventory up to 250 items, and you can do this for every single page if you want. Again, this is just if you're going step by step. We have an automated option, obviously. Go through and you can see the old price. You can see the new price that NeuroPrice set. You can see the percentage change, and you can see the dollar amount change. You can actually sort from the biggest price drops to the biggest price increases. And if you see something you're not so sure about, you can actually review all of your options. We give you the keep a price history charts, keep a sales history charts, as well as a pop-up showing you the lowest 5 used and new in both FBA and merch fulfilled. And if you see something you like better, you just click it, and NeuroPrice automatically updates the price in the field right here. Once you've reviewed everything you want to look at, you just hit save, and your prices are locked in and live on Amazon. So ask yourself this question: do you know what your current repricer is even doing? Can you confidently say you know how your current repricer, or if your current repricer is applying the rules that you set in exactly the way you intend them to work? If you can't say it with confidence, you should cancel your repricer immediately. And this is a difficult question to answer, but you should ask the question: how much are these pricing errors costing you every year? So again, your current repricer, you can't even see what it's doing. But if you somehow could, you would be appalled. And once you're appalled, you have to ask the question: well, how much is it costing me every year? And unfortunately, it's kind of an unanswerable question because these other repricers don't offer any transparency. They're scared. They're scared that you'll see what they're doing wrong. We offer you full transparency. So screenshot this, send it to your repricer, and say, hey, retro repricer, can you show me the before price, the after price, the exact logic that was applied, so I know exactly what the rationale of the repricer was in changing the price, and do all of this before the prices change and before the offer is live on Amazon? They're going to tell you no. They can't do that. As far as I know, none of them can. And at which point, again, you have to switch to NeuroPrice. Number 6, it's funny, I actually thought we were only doing 5. I forgot about the 6th one. NeuroPrice is the only repricer that has no FBA blind spots. Now, there's a good chance you don't even know about this. I've been talking about this for like the last year or so. There's a good chance you don't even know what the FBA blind spot is. And there's a reason for that. It's because your current repricer and all repricers out there are terrified of word of this getting out, because this is a very real thing. Your current repricer is costing you money because it has blind spots, specifically with FBA prices. NeuroPrice is the only repricer that allows you to see every FBA offer, not just the ones that Amazon wants you to see. So what is the FBA blind spot? There's a good chance you don't know about this. So I want to be really clear about what this is. So take a second to take this in, okay? And if you are hearing this for the first time, this should terrify you. The magnitude of this and its implications for your profits should be immediately apparent. Okay, so I'm going to read this very slowly. Any item in your inventory or a competitor's offer that is not priced in the lowest 20 offers is invisible to your current repricing software. You should be freaking out right now if you understand what's on this slide. If you don't, I'm going to say it again and explain it slightly differently. If you have an FBA offer that's, say, priced at $30, and there are 20 merch fulfilled offers that are priced less than $30, which is very, 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 very common, right? Because FBA offers are almost always priced above merch fulfilled. Your current repricer is unable to see that $30 offer, whether it's your offer or a competitor's offer. What that means is if you tell your current repricer, hey, match the lowest FBA price, and the lowest FBA price is not in the bottom 20, your repricer will have no idea what to do. And it's either not going to reprice that inventory or it's going to price it too low. And what's even crazier, your current repricer will not even tell you it's making this error. You will just simply quietly not know and will quietly misprice your inventory. Okay, this is the magnitude of this should have hit you by now. This is insane, and they are terrified of word of this getting out, because again, FBA prices are almost always higher than non-FBA, which means a huge number of FBA offers are invisible to all repricing tools. It's wild. So again, that translates to repricer either not repricing that inventory or pricing it too low. So now it's kind of hard to show a visual of this in a repricing tool because repricing happens in the background, right? It's invisible. There's no like visual representation. So I chose a scanning app example because scanning apps use the same APIs that repricing tools do. So to show you what I'm talking about, you scan an item, right? This happens all the time. The FBA column is blank. I'm talking about like a scanning app like Scoutly or Scout IQ. The FBA column is blank, and then you click over to Amazon and you can see, oh wait, there's actually tons of FBA offers. The reason is those FBA offers are outside the bottom 20. So no scanning app or repricing tool can see them. Amazon does not share that data. So this presents a huge problem for repricing tools. And it's honestly one they hope you don't know about. I did an audit like a year ago where I contacted most of the major tools, and only 2 of them admitted to the FBA blind spot. The rest lied about it. Totally insane. So the answer to how much this is costing you every year, it's very hard to quantify. But if you're an FBA seller, I can almost guarantee it's greater than the cost of NeuroPrice, which means NeuroPrice will just, without question, pay for itself. We don't have this blind spot. You see here, you can compare to the lowest offer, second lowest. We don't mean most of the lowest offers. We mean every FBA offer, every single one with no blind spots. So send a screenshot of this to your repricer, ask if they can do this. You know what's funny? They actually are going to tell you they can do it. They say, oh yeah, we can compare your offer to the lowest FBA offer. I know, because this is that sting operation I referenced a second ago. I did this to them, and almost all of them claim they could always see the lowest FBA offer, which is objectively not true, because they all depend on Amazon's API, and Amazon's API is very, very clear about this limitation. So they probably don't know this either because they're lying or just outright, or because they're not run by real Amazon sellers and they don't really understand how this stuff works. It's funny, I said there was 5, now we're up to 7, but I'm just going to give you a rapid fire list of all our other price boosting features. Some of these are other repricers have, some of them that don't, but these are all things that NeuroPrice offers. More ways to increase your sales price. We have the option of when the buy box is unavailable, you can fall back to the lowest FBA price. We have another setting when the FBA offer is unavailable, you fall back to the next lowest FBA price. When the overall offer is unavailable, you can use the next lowest overall. So these are all fallback options. Minimum option, you can set a minimum number of competitors. So you can say, hey, if there's fewer than X number of sellers selling this product, just don't reprice my inventory, keep the price the same. You can ignore competitors by store name. When there's no FBA offer, you can choose how much you want to price in relation to the lowest merchant fulfilled price, which no other repricer can do. Ignore competitors with feedback score below a certain amount. Ignore just launch competitors, and on and on and on and on. So you guys, I think I made the case that NeuroPrice will extract more profit from your inventory and pay for itself far beyond any other repricing tool. So your only job right now is to click the link below and sign up for the free trial. And free means free. 14-day free trial, so you can conclusively prove that NeuroPrice can do every single thing that I've covered here without any risk to you, because there's no money changing hands. Free trial means free trial. You get it for 14 days. If you want an extension, you can just email me, and I will personally extend your trial to 21 days if you want. Take a look at everything that's on this slide. Ask yourself, when you add all this up, what will this mean for your profits? How much extra revenue will NeuroPrice extract from your inventory? And the answer should be extremely clear. It's going to be an amount that is way, way, way in excess of what NeuroPrice costs. And on top of all this, we are one of the cheapest repricers out there, which actually probably will change soon because we got to raise the price at some point. NeuroPrice.io. Thank you guys so much. This is Peter Valley signing off, and I'll see you guys over there.